Hello, my loves. How are you? Hope you've been doing well and self-caring through these intense energies. Today, whatever you see in the title is what messages are gonna have been what comes through because I'm just gonna freestyle it today. But really fast, I want to make a few quick announcements and let you know that Friday around noon Eastern time, I'll be posting a video with a Sacred Masculine Speak with Connor. What we're going to do in that conversation is sort of dive into where he's feeling and sensing the divine masculine and collective is at this time. And I'll obviously share some of the inputs that I've been receiving. And we're also going to talk about these reunion energies that many have been feeling and sort of our insights or perspectives on some of the things that are potentially unfolding in the energetics if you're not seeing things landing in the physical just yet. So we'll have some info around that for those of you who feel guided to partake. Stay tuned for that, okay? And also, super fast, I want to let you know that I've had a couple posts on Patreon, and I also recorded a session around resolving the old obligation energies, and it was a really gorgeous session. And a lot of actually the counterparts came forward energetically in support of the session, and even the obligations or old obligations within the connections were dissolving. So you can either check that out over on my Patreon or it's also available on my web store. So now we will just check in. I want to also acknowledge really quick. I did it on my Patreon yesterday. We were talking about how this wave of solar flares has been quite physically intense for many. Of course, you may be experiencing emotions or other experiences as well. But as we are coming more and more into the stability of moving more deeply into the new energies, in the physical world, we're really noticing these things in a physical way. And so, of course, I feel regardless of where it's coming from, you want to support your body in whatever ways it's needed, in whatever ways you are guided. Rest, resources, foods, supplements, walking, baths, whatever supports you, right? You want to work with that. I did post a free session over on my Danielle Wilt to support the nervous system and really calming and soothing the energies during these times. So you're welcome to check that out. But there's been a lot coming up, especially through like the head, eyes, ears, nose, throat, like the upper sort of chakras really clearing out. So you might be experiencing symptoms connected with that. And also the lower chakras, sort of those digestive or, reproductive, different symptoms in that area. Not that it's limited to those, but those seem to be some major hot spots that I've been hearing about consistently through my conversations and experiences. So, one of the things I kind of wanted to touch on with that is that just noticing, because sometimes if we're not feeling well or we're having physical symptoms, we might think, oh, did I catch something? But what I've been really noticing, I mean, that could be the case, so you discern. But I felt guided to share with you from an energetic standpoint, something that I've observed and experienced personally is as these intense energies are coming in, they're actually happening to support clearing out what doesn't work anymore, right? Not just within us, but on the planet. So an example is like when the solar flares come in and that light plasma comes onto the earth, it sort of shakes everything up, even within the earth. So if there's any of those old, say, war energies or famine energies or painful or suffering energies, slavery energies within the energy of the planet, those all start to get shaken up and cleared out. And then, sort of how I was shown is like even what we're seeing down in Florida, where these hurricanes are coming in, it from an energetic standpoint is sort of that emotion, that energy coming up to clear out. And as we work within ourselves, we can support those planetary energies because what's happening on the earth is also happening within us because this is our home, right? So as those old energies get shaken up to be cleared out, that's also happening within our physical bodies. So at a cellular level, some of the symptoms that you may be experiencing, like earaches or stuffy nose or a cough or a tickle, or a detox sort of symptoms, those may be actually these ancient energies or ancestral energies or patterns that were in the cells, maybe sort of frozen or dormant, but now they're getting brought up to the surface to clear out. Okay. So it's this process of acknowledging what your body is experiencing and going through and supporting yourself in whatever ways are necessary, but also being able to have that perspective that in these ascension energies, it's sort of like those ascension flu symptoms of where it's actually coming out to clear out of the system versus something that you're catching in the moment. Okay, so I will leave it to each of you to discern what feels correct for you, but I wanted to share that information because it was something that I personally even experienced sort of waves of over these last few days. But the symptoms were moving very swiftly as I just honored them and supported myself. But I really didn't attach to them in a deep way. I just let them move out like I was detoxing. And each time that happens, I actually feel better and better after. Okay. So I felt important to share that. Now, with this, a lot of energies are sort of ramping up, right? The solar flares, the hurricanes, the weather, the different things that are happening on the planet are really synonymous with the shifting that's happening. And as many of us are aware of right now, the wave of collective masculines are going through more of their transformational times right now. And it is in a very physical manner. And a big part of why this is able to happen for the divine sacred masculine collective, but also our planetary collective, is because so many of us and so many of you have been working so diligently to stabilize yourself, to work more deeply into embodying into your body, into your lower chakras, into your earth star, and really anchoring and stabilizing. And the more you focus on your connection to the earth and your connection to your higher power, you become that pillar of energy and sovereignty for yourself. But when that happens, you're also in the process of supporting that stabilization energy for the planet. And the more and more of us that are just gently focused on our own pillar of stability, that all begins to amplify and build momentum as a collective. And the more of us that are doing that simultaneously, the stronger we're getting, the more of the old energies are able to collapse and clean out. Okay. And so as I'm saying that, I'm sort of seeing these tower moments on the overall planet, right? Like what's happening as Earth herself is purging, but then also like what's happening on the global stages, the world stages, the different things that are collapsing and coming to light is happening because more and more of us are more and more stable. What I'm going to do is I do want to dive into some messages. I feel guided to go into the masculines first. They're coming through. And so we'll just see whatever, we'll just be open to what's going to be the most beneficial for you. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So I pulled three, and it's sort of like a past, present, future, but also, those different waves of the masculines at this time. So the first card in the recent past is sort of this lost in space, needing direction. And it feels that as more have become stable, the lost in space energy is sort of dissipating now in the energetics and the quantum. This does not mean we won't be still witnessing and experiencing some of that chaotic energy on the planet, because that's where transformation happens. But there is sort of this acknowledgement that the majority of that has already taken place, that there are some things that have been implemented that are providing that sort of stabilization and direction in the energetics for the masculine. So they are able to go through this next levels of transformation for themselves in that process. Because the next card that came out was closing door completion. And whenever this card comes in for me, it very, very much speaks to me about the energy as one door closes, another door opens. And it's like that completion of the way that things used to be done. Now, the new has been grounded and is in the process of anchoring, but to do it in the most gentle way for a huge planet with so many people on it and so many things to sort of realign, there's this process that's occurring like as it's happening in the quanta, and then it comes down into the embodiment phase. But it very much feels like we reached this turning point, a tipping point, a pivot point where the old pattern has closed out and the new one is opening. And I don't know if I've ever said it so specifically like that in those ways. I know we have them, these waves that happen, but this feels to me much bigger. That because of that level of stabilization that we've been able to embody in the new energy as a collective, yes, we're still working on it, but there is enough energy grounded and stabilized and anchored and embodied that this transition is able to take place. Okay. And as it's sort of this completion of that one door closing and the new door opening, we're in that like sort of corridor at this time. Um, there is this energy coming through with this woodwife's adaptability. And what I'm getting with this is the capacity to understand that we're still navigating that middle ground. You as an individual may be much more deeply embodying the new energies and living in those, but you're also still here on this planet, sort of part of the transition team, so to speak. And so you've gained that, or are in the process of gaining that muscle and capacity and ability to sort of energetically hold space for those that are moving through the transitions as we speak. Now, this is acknowledging that there are probably a lot of you here with me have been doing this for quite some time. And so you've really started to get yourself into some form of container and or something that's working for you. And if not, I would suggest finding something for you. And it doesn't have to be rigid. It can just be like a container that's comfortable for you to work within and grow within and build within. And then um sort of navigating this process, what I just saw was sort of like you went through the bridge, you went through the storm, and you're out the other side, and now you've ridden the wave, and now you've learned, you're in the process of like building a boat, a big boat, an ark, whatever, something that can withstand more waves, but you can be high and dry on the boat when more waves come. And then as people come in, they have a place, a safe place to land. Okay, so that's the vision that I was seeing coming through. So it's not like we're completely out of the woods in every manner, because we're here on this planet and some of you are experiencing things like these hurricanes or storms or just different capacity, just all the different things that are happening, but you're helping to stabilize the higher energies. So one of the things that came through for me the other day during the storm, the solar storm, and when it was intended to project and actually come through Earth's atmosphere, I went up to the park and sat, and I just intuitively kind of sensed that the wave was coming in. And when it did, or at least when my soul aligned with it, I welcomed in the plasma energy and asked it to help clear out anything that wasn't the truth from my stream that might be leftover residuals. And I welcomed that higher code plasma energy down into my Earth star to support any of those higher level manifestations that I'm intended to bring through for myself and, of course, whoever's with me. And I felt guided to share that because it was the first time I had done it in that capacity and really felt the energy and saw it sort of shifting and coming in. So I wanted to share that in case something within that resonates. Maybe you're already doing your own version of that, but it felt powerful because it felt like I was able to really connect with it, receive it, and allow it to transform and support what it was intended to at the highest levels. Okay, my loves. So it's part of that adaptability and using the experiences that we have present on our planet right now to learn and grow as much as possible and allow ourselves to sort of dissolve and resolve any of the residual like worries or fears or things of that nature. Okay. I do feel like I want to bring in some messages from the feminine as well, since the masculines brought that through. Let's see what the feminines want to share. Okay, beautiful. So the feminines brought through that energy of friendship, support, fun, unity, and play. And I feel like, again, we've talked about this and the importance of it, of moving from surviving and into flourishing energies. Now, this doesn't mean that we're not caring for ourselves so that we're surviving, right? We still have to address our needs, those basic needs, those foundational ways to take care of ourselves and protect ourselves. And be comfortable in our life so that then we can move into these thriving energies and hold those unity energies because we're also holding those stability and safety codes within us as well. And this allows us to do all of it and be present on this planet even while we're going through intense, transformative, and sometimes even chaotic experiences, but we can still hold those higher consciousness codes even while we're in intense situations. And this combination of the capacity to be stable in both survival and flourishing energies is actually allowing you to get stronger and stronger and to achieve more of those physical, prosperous experiences. And it's like the effort plus intention. It's not about ignoring what we have going on our planet. We know some things are chaotic and uncomfortable. We have to look at the truth of those, but we also don't have to feed into the fears. We just do whatever we need to do to mitigate the issues for ourselves, focus on caring for ourselves and what we want to. Wow, decisive focus, sacred action, what we want to focus our energy upon. Okay, we look at the truth of everything that's present, and then we decisively focus our energy where we want to build, where we want to create. So we're not ignoring the energy of caring for ourselves and survival and those basic needs. We're honoring those. we're caring for those. And then we can sort of get in a routine with it and set it and forget it so we can move into the prosperous energies and decisive action. And it feels very, very important that even when there's uncomfortable, chaotic things happening on our planet, or others may be suffering, it is okay to move into prosperous energies, to allow yourself to move into those, because it's actually your capacity to move into those that will lead the pathways out of suffering for others. Okay. It is not your job to stay back in survival mode with everyone else. It is your job to move forward into prosperity and into the new energies. Okay. You can, of course, like I said, holding the energy of both, honoring the truth of what we're actually looking at on our planet, and at the same time, simultaneously holding the codes and taking the actions to build the new energies. Okay, my loves. And if you want more around this, you are more than welcome to book a one-on-one session with me or work with any of those recordings that I have. This is a lot of what I'm here to do: support our deeper embodiment of our soul into our body and onto this planet as we're resolving and dissolving the old patterns and programming that kept us in survival so that we can move into building this planet in an honorable, sacred way, honoring our earth, honoring our bodies, honoring our connection to one another, and supporting this planet with aligning to where it was always intended to be, in its rightful place, in a prosperous, gorgeous, beautiful space. Okay, my loves. So let go of any residuals that you may be holding on that are telling you to stay small and back with the comfort zone of everyone else's. Release yourself from the pattern of suffering. Allow yourself to move forward into joy, into fun, into success, achievement, prosperity, and health and wealth, and all of those things that we're intending for our entire planet, because that is your next level. You have worked to stabilize and clear out the shadows. Yes, you may still be doing some, but you're also simultaneously ready to hold the stability for the gorgeousness of our future, the joy, the prosperity, the thriving, the community, the unity, the consciousness. Gorgeousness. I love it. Loving the camaraderie as we're holding this space, as the masculines and feminines are working together to bridge and hold the energies as we are moving more swiftly into these new ways of doing, living, and being. All right, my loves, it's so beautiful to connect here with you. I hope you're having a beautiful day and self-caring through these intense times. I would love to hear from you, of course, and I will be seeing you very soon. I want to let you know that I do have a couple topics that I've touched on, and I've received your feedback that you would really like me to talk about the physical, monetary, m- dealing with money as we're moving forward into the new energies, and especially how the Divine Sacred Feminine Collective can work with those energies. And also, another topic that's been very prominent is talking about the ageless energies and the ageless codes. And so I'm going to be bringing more information and perspective around those topics and how we can work with unraveling and resolving the old beliefs so that we can actually, again, move more deeply and truthfully into our genuine potential, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, as multidimensional human beings. All right, my loves. I hope you again have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Much love. Bye.